Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia. Come on in, hurry up, bring your pen and pencil because today we're going to talk about some stuff that you probably should take notes. I also will have a printable checklist. I hope that it works, and so that you can use it. So maybe you don't have to take too many notes, but I want to make sure that we go over this, and we might have to go over it like once a year or something, or every so often. But it's how to prepare for end-of-life preparation. Most of you probably have already done this, have already heard of this, or have already been through it. And so you know, and you would probably agree with me. But what I'm going to talk about, and I'll try and make it as quick as possible because I want to show you some of my pictures. Because remember, we've kind of gotten off the track here of, our regular routine. I'm having a hard time getting into it, but this is very important because a lot of people had a difficult time when they lost their spouse, not only emotionally, but with all the things they didn't realize that their spouse actually did, that they now are responsible for. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to show you some of my, I will have another art exhibit from the famous artist, Cynthia, who doesn't know what she's doing, but actually when I show them to you, I'm kind of impressed with how skilled I am. Anyway, I'm going to go through these basic things pretty quickly because I'm pretty sure that most of you know these things. You have to have a will. You have to have a will. It's essential. Now, I am not a lawyer. I am not a legal consultant. I am not an expert. So anything I say, you need to have checked out by somebody who knows something, like a lawyer or whatever. But in a lot of states, you can actually do your own will. You can handwrite it as long as it's witnessed by two people and notarized. So I just told you my uncle passed away. Well, we did a written will. I got a form online. We did it together. It was witnessed by two people. We took it to the bank and they notarized it. And that was considered a legal will in this state. I would wonder if other states have that. So in Massachusetts, it was legal. I don't know about other things. Then you need a doable power of attorney for each of you. So if you are a couple, you each need one. You need an advanced will, an advanced directive, or a living will, or a healthcare proxy. So what that is it just says what your end of life, if you were in a coma and you weren't able to make decisions for yourself, who is going to make it and what do you want them to decide? So you tell them beforehand what it is that you want. And then if you have a trust, maybe your estate is in a trust, per recommendation of your lawyer, you need to have those documents. You need to have your marriage certificates. Because some benefits actually require it. So marriage certificates, birth certificates, I was going to say death certificates, but you don't need those until after the person has passed. But that is another thing that we'll talk about when we get to that. If someone has been in the military, then you need to have the military records, your discharge papers, so that they're readily available. Funeral, burial, cremation wishes written out. Now, something that I just discovered, I told you that my uncle passed away and I was his power of attorney. Well, I took him to the funeral home and we made pre-funeral arrangements, and he paid for his funeral up front. Well, guess what? Now that I'm trying to plan his funeral, which he's just going to have a basic burial because he doesn't have anyone except me and my sisters, and we're not actually even blood relatives, but he's a member of our family, so. But he only prepaid for cremation. And I was thinking that he prepaid for the entire funeral. So That wasn't true. So when you make your funeral arrangements, which it is advised that you do prior to your death or prior to your spouse's death, so that everybody knows what page you're on, what you want, and are reassured that it's paid for, because you don't want to have your children have to pick up that bill or not be able to pick up that bill. And then what happens to you? So those are all the legal documents that you need to have. And probably most of you have all of those, but make sure that you do, because especially the funeral arrangements. Now, you don't have to do funeral arrangements. You can just write what you want for your funeral. I had a girlfriend who passed away last year. I went down to visit her. She said, "Come on, I want to show you my headstone." I'm saying, oh, she had her headstone installed, and she had it engraved, and her husband was still alive, but she had his name so that he wouldn't have to, the kids wouldn't have to worry about it. And it was really nice. She actually had fun. She picked out the one that she wanted, and she was Irish, so she picked out a Gaelic cross. It was very pretty. It was very pretty. So those are the legal documents that you need. Then you need to have your financial documents. What do you have for bank accounts? Do you each have separate bank accounts? Are you on each other's? I'll tell you one thing. It was a lot easier. When my husband passed, my name was on everything. His car, the house, all the bank accounts. I didn't have to go to probate court. Everything was a breeze. I didn't have to worry about anything because it was mine as well as his. So if that isn't the case, you still need to be able to figure out how to have what the bank accounts are, what banks they're in, what are the account numbers, are they checking account, are they savings account, are they whatever. Then, do you have any investment accounts? Do you have a 401k? Do you have an IRA? Do you have some stocks that you might need? When my uncle, when I first started taking care of him, he had stocks, not very many, but because he was going on mass health, he had to spend down and get rid of everything. They took everything, his house, the proceeds from his house, his stocks. You need to know how to get them, how to have access to them. So you need a list of the stocks, who you go through to either cash them, update them, or notify them that somebody has passed away, get your name on it. Whatever you have to do, it needs to be available. All these things that I'm talking about the legal documents. You should have all of those in the same folder or the same notebook, okay? And then you're going to have your financial and your insurance information. So you're going to have your credit cards. Do you have 2 credit cards? Who are they with? What's the account number? How do you contact customer service or whatever? What's the balance on those? So you need to know how to access those, the one left behind, and how to close them. So they may be joint credit cards, or if they're single, you need to tell the person left behind how to get to it or add their name to it. Life insurance policies. Some have life insurance policies, some don't. If you do, you need to make sure that you have it, the company name, the policy number, and who the beneficiaries are. Check who the beneficiaries are. Seriously. How many people have been divorced, but their spouse had a will with their previous spouse, and that never gets changed? It happens more than you think. So that if that previous spouse is the beneficiary, guess what? They're the one who gets the life insurance. So you need to make sure that all of those things are taken care of. Even your 401k or your IRA, you have to list a beneficiary. You want to keep in mind, do you want just one person, like your power of attorney, to be the beneficiary? Or if you have 3 children, do you want each one of them to be beneficiaries, with one being the private? There's all kinds of things to consider, and I'm not going to attempt to even, or assume that I even know all the ways that you could list beneficiaries, but I know they're important. They're important to check. My sister, when she was up here the other day, her ex-husband passed away about a month ago. She was going through some papers, decluttering. She found a life insurance policy. That was his. She called the life insurance company. Guess what? She was the beneficiary. That was a very small policy. Money is money. But they've been divorced for 40 years, 30 years, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So she will get that money, but it is just a small amount. But every little bit counts, especially when you're on a fixed income. So make sure that your beneficiaries are current and up to date. Do you have a pension or an annuity? You need to have that information. And then your Social Security benefit information. You know that thing that they send you every year? I don't know if they're going to send it anymore. You have to get it on the computer, but it is accessible. You can contact the Social Security office, and then you can get all that stuff. So now we've talked about the legal documents. We've talked about the financial documents. Actually, we haven't finished them all. You need to have a list of all of your bills, what your utilities are, who you use, who's your mortgage from, how much it is. Do you have subscriptions? Who pays what, when, and how? Because, say both of you were killed in a car accident and your kids had to figure this out. How would they know what bills you have? What's due tomorrow? You know, so it makes sense to do these things. Then you need to have a master list of passwords. I want to show you my master list. It is so bad. Oh. Look at this. List after list after list after list after list after list. The notebook's falling apart. Pages are falling out. Supposedly all my passwords, oh, here's another one. This was the original one. You have to keep it up to date. You have to keep it accurate. You have to keep it current. They tell you not to use the same password. My goodness, how could you have passwords different for every single thing that you have? Your phone, well, you know, I don't have to tell you that. But what if they need to get into your account? You have to have those passwords. We all have separate emails and Facebook things and, you know, all that stuff. My poor kids are going to have a heck of a time. My daughter-in-law has told me at least 3 times that she was going to come over and help me, get it on the computer. Then you have to make sure that you update it. You know how you have to change some people let you have the same password forever, and then somebody else makes you change it every 30 days. You have to make sure that that list is current, because then they can't get into your accounts if they need to. Got it? Do you have a safe deposit box? Where's the key? Who can get into it? Oh my goodness, there's so many things. Maybe what I should just do is what I should have done. Well, no, I'm going to continue with this, and then I'll do a part 2. So this will be part 1. Then you think of your home and security. Where is the title and the deed to your home? What about your mortgage documents? What about your car title and insurance? Utility account information. Who's your electric carrier? Who's your gas carrier? Who's your internet carrier? What kind of subscriptions do you have? Do you have ongoing maintenance things? Like some people have somebody to clean the yard every spring or something. That's a wish of mine. But it might just happen automatically, and then all of a sudden they get stuck with a bill. And then you need to have a paper trail. You need to have one physical place that all of this stuff is in, whether it's a file box, whether it's a notebook. You could have a loose leaf notebook with plastic dividers or something that you can put things in. You can have a digital folder as a backup. And that you have to have someone who knows where that information is. So you need to get together, review this checklist, and agree to it and start working on it. Get that yellow highlighter and highlight through. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Because I guarantee you, whether it's you're the one who's left behind or your kids are the ones who are left behind, it's so much easier for them. It's so stressful not to have all these things. I know we weren't prepared for this. He was fairly organized, so I was able to, my kids didn't, because I was like a basket case. But they were able to pull it all together and figure it out to get me a foundation. And then I had to take over. But it's so much easier if it's all in one notebook, one box, something, labeled with it, instructions, who to call, where to call, and all that. So review it together. Review it with your children or the people that are the person who's your executor that you've chosen to be. Let close family members know. I have given my children a copy of my will. Each of them has a copy of my will. Each of them has a copy of the advance directives. Each one knows what happens to the house when I'm gone, and on and on and on. This is another thing that I haven't done, but I think that it's really nice, is to write personal letters to each other or others. That, of course, is optional, but it's very meaningful. So, if you found this helpful, there is a printable list that you can print off. And if for some reason you can't, email me and I will email you a list if I can figure out how to do it. But we'll get it to you somehow or other, okay? So this is all that I'm going to talk about this today, because this is a lot. It's not much fun. And then tomorrow we will talk about, or no, not tomorrow, because tomorrow's the board meeting. The next day, we're going to talk about the everyday things that we don't realize that our partner or our roommate or our spouse or our significant other does. So we're going to talk about that very soon. These things need to be talked about. It's unfortunate, but it needs to be done. So now I'm going to show you an art exhibit. I'll probably show you a few more than I usually do because I need to balance this out with the beginning of this was not that much fun. This is a dragonfly. And my comment for myself was, it's just okay. I wasn't happy with that. Then I did the champagne glasses. Not that great. I kind of like this one. It's just supposed to be reflections on the water at night. Kind of pretty. At least it looks pretty on the screen there. It doesn't look that pretty up close. And this is a heart tree. And my note here says, I'm getting pretty discouraged. How about this one? This one's cute. A little folksy bumblebee. What did I write on this one? Very childish. That was supposed to be my Valentine. Very childish that I wrote. And I love this one. This is Love Bugs. And I wrote, Love Bugs. I love this. Kind of simple but cute. So that was my critique of myself. This one is really bad. This is as bad as can be. That's what my comment was. Childish, love bugs. I mean, love birds. I like this one. You can tell this was a Valentine's theme. Here we come into some flowers, tulips. And these are sunflowers, Mexican sunflowers. I think they're pretty nice. These are cosmos. Kind of pretty. These are zinnias, but they're called envy zinnias. These look too fake. I don't like those. Sweet peas. Yeah. Almost done. Bear with me. This was supposed to be hollyhocks. Can you tell? I didn't critique that one. Oh, here's a pretty one. A lily. These are forget-me-nots. I think you've had enough. I want to thank you for having patience with me and for putting up with that video. I know it wasn't a fun thing. I didn't make you laugh, but it's things that need to be done. talked about and brought out into the open. You have to do them because it will save you stress, anxiety when the time comes, or it will save your loved ones. So do it. Just do one thing a week. Check it off the list. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me and for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow at the board meeting. And try to get here early because I'm going to need help with an agenda. See ya.